What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Analyze This podcast. Guess what, y'all? I'm on the road. I've been on the road since Thursday. There's a couple more episodes in the pipeline that are coming out your way. But I just wanted to hop on here and just give you guys a quick update. So, my life is crazy at this very moment. It's crazy what's going on. God has blessed me beyond immense, but crap, okay, hold on. I gotta be better about this. I always forget. Just don't forget to like, share, subscribe, the whole deal. But let me tell you this, guys. I've been on the road all over Texas since Thursday. I did comedy at Slackers. Great freaking show. The ownership over at Slackers Brewing Company, y'all have heard about that show, is beyond freaking amazing. Over 70 people from the Cedar Park area, Northwest Austin, showed out. Thank you, Mike Hudak, for holding it down. That night was just fucking phenomenal. Yesterday, just friggin' did some in-town work. Just made some monies. Got to hang out with my sister in comedy and celebrate her birthday, Mycia Shabert. She is if you haven't listened back, I really do suggest you to go listen back. Mycia has been on the podcast twice already, in the first season and the second season. We're in talks about getting her back on this season to promote a lot of amazing things that are down the pipeline that we want to share with you guys. But that's her news to tell, not mine. But I guess today, since I am on the road and I'm currently somewhere in the middle of Texas, just doing life, I wanted to just talk about something usually that I don't talk about, and that's kind of like my faith and my mindset and kind of where I'm at in life, I guess, right? Like, everything's been all about comedy. Everything's been a lot about, just what's been going on in this world, that I'm finally able to just kind of take a moment and just appreciate what's going on. So, I really want to talk about this, but I know that I can't yet. So, basically, I've had some big life changes in the last several weeks. I was forced out of my comfort zone without me wanting it, right? I was forced out of my comfort zone without me wanting it. I didn't make a choice. It was made for me. And now, while I was hurt, still am hurt, I'm in this position where I'm forced to reassess what I want to do with my life and how I want to do it. But oddly enough, it was like the one thing that I realized is that I'm not changing my goals. My goals didn't change. My goals are still there. My dreams, my aspirations, my goals for the future have not changed. So, what do? Life happens. Life happens for everybody, right? You lose your job. Somebody dies. Your car breaks down. Life happens. Things suck. They're not exactly fun. Things happen to just work out. But, your big term, your long term vision, your goals, they don't change. And neither do you adjust within the vision and how to get there. 100%. If you were forced to go right instead of left, well, guess what? Now you got to go a little bit longer the way around. But guess what? It doesn't change where you want to end up. What is that what does that look like? I guess spiritually, right? Like, I've been listening to this book called The Power of Positive Thinking by Jordan Vincent Peele, I think I forget the guy's last name. Anyway, the point is that what I've learned with this book, and I've been playing this book kind of on repeat for the last 2 weeks. It's not a long book. It's a short read. It's not a big read, but then I listen to audiobooks. I would like to become more of a regular reader. I really would. But I don't know. Maybe this is a good time to become a regular reader. Who knows? But I listen to books. That's how I consume a lot of my knowledge, and I listen to podcasts. And in the book, it is Bible based. So, mind you, Bible based is Bible based, right? It's not necessarily the most. It's not for everybody. It's for me. It's not for everybody. So know that it's Bible based. It's based on Judeo-Christian, kind of tenets and ethics. So there you go. So kind of the story behind this recent change. I was going through something extremely, extremely, extremely personal that I am just not at liberty to talk about right now. In one of my moments, I was strolling through Instagram, and let it be the happy coincidence or a God thing, right? However you decide to put those things together. It's what ended up happening is I see this reel by Steve Harvey, and now Steve Harvey is one of my favorite comedians. I think he's extremely funny, but more than anything, it's what he's turned into. He's turned into this like mentor to those who don't have a mentor. Now, I don't know him personally, and if he ever hears this, I hope he gets where I'm coming from, because he's also a comic. And he said to change somebody's life, you first have to change the way that they think. And he recommended 2 books in that short clip. I didn't hesitate. I bought those 2 books that second. As soon as I finished watching, I turned on I went to my Apple iTunes book stuff and bought the 2 books. And the first time I listened to the first to The Power of Positive Thinking, the first go around, I was arguing with it. Because as a Christian, to be frank, we know the word. We might not know the word intimately, but we know the truth that is in that book. We know the truth. We know where the things we're supposed to be doing in honor of God and to honor of yourself, right? The things we're supposed to be doing for our mental health. It's all outlined in the Bible, right? We can argue all day about the corporatization of church and how that's been being corrupted and leading people the wrong way. But if you're a Christian and you're a true follower of Christ, like I consider myself to be, you know what's right and wrong, not only to do towards others, but you know how to remedy yourself within that, right? And it's always getting closer to God. It's always being more self-conscious and walking in what Dr. Peele talks about is walking in the rhythm of God, right? Like, and that rhythm is not the same as our rhythm, right? Like, and this is a reality that I'm coming to terms with right now in my life, that my rhythm is not in line with God's rhythm. Doesn't mean I'm doing bad things. Just means that because I'm trying too hard, I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. And I like to think that God works in a couple of different ways, right? Sometimes he's hands off. He's like, mijo, do what you want to do. Figure it out. then there's other times where, like a good parent. You ever seen like good parents? Not abusive ones. Like a good parent. He gives you slack until that slack runs out, then he brings you back to where you have slack again. Right? I like to consider that slack God's will. God's will is like, oh, you can go where your free will is a rope. It's not infinite. Your rope isn't infinite. It's like a dog on a leash, right? That free will, yeah, you can go wherever you want within this leash. Right? But then God's will is what brings you back. Boom. God's will is your leash. And you're free to roam within that will. But if you're not living up to that will, or if you break out of that will, you're not going to live life to your fullest. And being life to your fullest, for me, is pursuing what I love. And hard to explain to people who don't do this, who don't pursue this crazy thing called comedy, stand-up comedy, who don't pursue this performance art stuff that, so many people do. Be honest with you guys. It's fucking scary. It's scary. And ever since the Tommy Chong interview, it's been kind of in the front of my brain, in that what some people call the third eye. It's been in the front of my brain about how I've already been given everything that I need to be successful. Why am I toiling at something that I shouldn't be toiling at? Why am I digging a hole where the hole is already dug? Why am I digging myself deeper into that? Right? So, I'm listening to this book. And he starts talking about positive affirmations, but not just, weird chants that you see online. I'm not talking about that. That's motivational cocaine. It's not real. It's temporary. But these are like habit changing things, right? Journaling twice a day. I was, for many, many years before comedy, I was a huge prayer journal guy. I have prayer journals in my room that date back to 2008. I have prayer journals that some are written cover to cover, front and back to pages. I have some that are, halfway through and you forget about them, but like prayer journals. I've always been a prayer. I believe in prayer. I believe in the power of prayer. I believe prayer sets intention, and prayer behind the name of Jesus Christ is a very important thing to me. Right? Like, I'm not here to preach. I'm just telling you what it is and how I look at life, and hopefully it resonates with you, and hopefully you see where I'm coming from. Because the fact of the matter is, I was stuck in a place where I was working and toiling myself deeper into quicksand. I strayed away. I was at the end of my will leash, some might say. Right? And I felt like God yanked me back so I can spend time with Him again. He separated me from the things that I was neglecting because I was focused on something that in actuality was bearing bad fruit. I know there's a lot of metaphors. I'm not trying, like sometimes I forget that my listeners aren't faith guys. They're just regular people. And look, I don't know how long I'm going to talk, but I want to get this off of my brain and share it with you guys. But I sat there for a few weeks. Started listening to this book. Slowly I started journaling again. started praying in affirmational ways and changing the way my prayers were, right? Like for a long time, my prayers were one of begging, not one of gratitude. Ones of like challenging God in a way. Challenging God. And it was even showing in my comedy. Like I had a bit that I'm not proud of. I had a comedy. If you've seen me live recently, you've probably seen this bit. Talking about angry prayers. Angry prayers are very unconducive. That's the truth. Praying angry at God, I don't want to say it's a bad thing, but it's setting a bad intention for what the type of relationship you want to have with God. See, God is patient. But God's no fool. God sees your entire picture. God sees your entire road ahead, right? God is eternal. God is omnipresent. God is ever here. So while you and I, we're struggling through life, and sometimes we just see just a little bit. Like we see just a little bit. We're in the fog. We're in the storm, and we barely see the next step. We see like the only next step, and we feel like we're so trapped in that thing that we, while on the leash, we can't see our good dad, our good father just giving us a thing, because the fog is so bad that you have this thing on your neck and you don't know the next step, but you know you have to take the next step, and you take it, and you're scared, and you're stuck. And it's like all of a sudden he brought me back. He brought me back. Have I been to a regular church? No, I have not been back to a regular church yet. I don't know if I'm ready. Honestly, I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. Because I think that my work, that the journey that I'm about to embark, the real start of my comedy career, has God's name all over it, man. And I'm starting to realize something. And this isn't an ego thing. I've talked about this before on the podcast. I know that I have. This is not an ego thing, because trust me, this is a passion thing. This is a living within your purpose thing. And I'll tell you this, y'all. It's like I was in college. Now I'm in a career. And God is like, Papi, let's go. You got this. I got you. I'm right behind you. I'm opening up doors. I'm opening up doors you couldn't even imagine. Guys, if you just knew what's been happening in the last couple of weeks that I can't talk about. It's like I can't talk about it because it's just a lot of things in the works, but just the things that are happening. It's like the storm that I was in became so comfortable that I thought that was the only way. And I felt that if I just rode it out, it'll calm down one day. But no. It's like God sent his angels and his Navy SEALs and all these crazy warrior spirits to pull me out of that, to bring me back to him. It's crazy. It's crazy because I know that y'all are gonna listen to this shit and y'all gonna be like, yo, Danny's going off the fucking rails. And I'm not. I promise. I haven't. I'm not off the rails. I'm in a different mental space. I feel funnier than ever. I feel like My goals are my goals are reachable. But not because I'm good. Because there's somebody opening doors for me while I work. I just walk through. I do the work. I'm walking through. Doing the work is walking through doors that are opened within lifetime of opportunities. Right. A great pastor that I used to work with, Pastor Jeremy. Pastor Jeremy Mount. He is now in St. Louis, Missouri. Bless that man. Once told me, opportunity only lives within the lifetime of that opportunity. And a man of faith seizes those lifetimes so he can open other lifetimes. I was forced into mine. I didn't have a choice. The choice was made for me. I'm glad that it was. I'm glad that that choice was made for me. Don't get me wrong, it sucks. I am hurting. I'm hurting inside. But that opportunity that I'm getting now, oh God, it's like I've never been at a weird peace. Sometimes my emotions still come back and they creep in. But I'm aware. I am aware. And that's okay. It's okay to feel emotion. What's not okay is to act on it. And to realize that and to choose otherwise makes you a very powerful person. Very powerful. So, this is going to be a short one, y'all. This is a short baby episode. It's just a quick diary, Road Dog diary. I'll be in Austin tonight doing comedy at Casa Morenos. I'll be back in Dallas tomorrow. And there'll be more. There's going to be a lot more amazing podcast episodes coming y'all's way. Just know that I have been working really, really hard on all those things. And shout out to the sticker app. They sent me my first batch of stickers. They look amazing. I have an email newsletter that I want to start plugging in. I'm uploading all that up to the website. Hopefully by Monday. By the time y'all get this, it'll be out. But I want y'all to understand that hard times are here. But you don't have to react like it's hard times. Right? Hard times are here. For everybody. For everybody. They're here. Food and inflation is through the roof. Gas is through the roof. Politics are fucking you up. Your mom left you. Your wife left. Hard times are here for everybody. Doesn't mean you can't be blessed. Doesn't mean you can't thrive and prosper and live like a king. It's a mindset. And to me, mindset is revolved around a higher power, and I choose to follow the Lord Jesus Christ. But look, I'm not perfect. I'm not the perfect Christian. I know my mouth gets me in trouble. I'll tell you this, man. God is good. And I won't ever change that. I won't ever change that. I won't ever change my confession. Because even in my storm, I will praise His name. It's a little different than what you're used to. And I hope that you get something out of this kind of baby episode of the podcast. And guys, don't forget to do all the stuff on the socials, like, share, subscribe, hit the review button, blah, blah, blah. You know what to do. Have a good evening, good day, and good night. Drive safe. and enjoy the rest of your summer, man. It's gonna be great. I'm excited.